Hi, this is Kimberly. Please enjoy our podcast, but remember our doctors are only here to educate, not diagnose. If you have any questions or need any further information, please email me. My email address is kim@mfwellness.org.
This podcast is a continuation of our series of podcasts where we're just trying to make people more empowered, towards what's going on in St. Charles County and in Missouri. We talked about how to avoid being attacked by bears, which probably won't happen. We talked about how to avoid being attacked by ticks. We just
probably will happen.
Yeah. Absolutely, it already has happened. If we can get the bears to fight the ticks, then we'd be set. We're really just missing an episode about the opossum, and then we'll have the whole circle of life, Kim. Anyway, we got our buddy Ryan Graham, who is the Parks Director for St. Charles County. Literally the guy. So thank you for taking time to come over here.
Thanks for having me.
We guys are so in luck because we got, we want to talk about Kinetic Park because it's amazing. It's right down the street here, and we're so excited. But Kim went ahead and found us the guy, and I guess he was just wandering the hallways, and Kim laid a snare out for him like she normally does.
Something like that.
Yeah, and so we do, we hit upon the old trick of, giving people food.
It works.
I
wasn't going to do it until I heard that there was food involved.
And they're like, well, it's good food too, so we got that Pickelman's. We've been getting Pickelman's to feed to our guests and for our lunch and learns for a decade. The guy down there came in and he had been in that car accident. And I was like, oh, where do you work? He's like, well, I manage the Pickelman's. I'm
not
like,
long after it opened.
That's right.
Not too long after.
And I told him, you are in luck. Like, you're so lucky that you got injured in that car accident. Because not only am I going to fix your spine, but you're going to give us discounted food.
He was excited. Good salad.
He was excited. So, first, let's talk about Ryan. Then, let's ask him a bunch of questions. Okay, perfect.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so, we want to know, how does one get to be the guy for Parks and Rec in St. Charles County? Where are you from?
So, originally from Palmyra, Missouri.
Palmyra.
It's up north there by Hannibal.
Heck yeah.
So, a tiny little town. Yeah, grew up there. Went down and got my undergraduate at Southeast Missouri State in historic preservation with a minor in archaeology and anthropology.
Bro, are you kidding me?
One of those history folks.
God, anthropology, so cool.
Yeah.
That's a whole other podcast.
So we went. So from there, I went and did some work for the National Park Service at the Eisenhower National Historic Site in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Awesome.
We were the historic site in Gettysburg that no one knows about because everyone comes from the battlefield. And finds out that Eisenhower actually lived there too.
Yeah, man.
So we were that other site at Gettysburg. But
Kim, you travel on the Eisenhower Expressway all the time. Did you know that?
No.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
He's the one that made sure that the highways connected, Highway 70 across.
Interstate highway system.
A lot of highways, but
really?
Yeah, he's the one that made that happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was the 50s, Kim. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So
it's not going to happen.
I worked there for a while, and then the grant that they were paying me out of kind of dried up.
Oh, so sure, that'll happen.
I did one of those things, and they decided to go to grad school. Went to grad school at Colorado State University.
Dude, nice. Buffaloes?
Rams.
The Rams.
Yeah. Buffaloes are Colorado State. Colorado.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Well,
they were the Rams.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Maurer is from Ohio, so you don't want to get his colleges wrong.
Gotcha.
He gets not mad outwardly, but he'll wreck your stuff.
So while I was out there, I worked for the National Parks Conservation Association Center for the State of the Park. So I traveled around the United States reviewing national parks, putting together reports for Congress. Trying to get national parks more funding and more recognition.
And so what would you do? Just outline the amenities and then give them hey, if they just had this, this, and this, we'd have...
A little bit like that, yeah. So we'd go out, we'd host 2 to 3 day workshops with the National Park Service staff, kind of going through everything from operations, to tour the site, kind of behind the scenes of their operations, and try to make recommendations on, not necessarily ways to maybe improve their operations, but mainly just trying to get the word out that, hey, these parks need support and Congress needs to help fund,
That's awesome.
These things. And so we did a lot of those sorts of
workshops,
like
that.
Yeah. So we did all around Channel Islands, the Point Reyes Seashore in California, Appomattox Courthouse.
Appomattox.
Wow. We went all over.
I saw a ghost hunters show And I don't normally watch that, but it was on.
Sure.
And I was like, and they were at Appomattox. And they're like, we might find some ghosts here. I'm like, you'd be lucky if that's all you find.
Yeah.
You know what I was saying?
Well, I lived in Gettysburg. My apartment was above a military hospital on the first day of the battlefield.
Holy cow.
Okay. I got stories, but that's another one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We should do another one before.
Of all the biggest temptations to completely derail a podcast,
that would have been it.
that is really tough to walk
This
away
is
from.
an idea. Halloween is coming up.
Yeah.
We're ghost stories.
Our patience,
next
we're going to
time.
hear about this. Like, dude, why did you not ask him?
2 weeks. Ghost stories.
Hell yeah. Yeah, dude, that'd be great.
So in 2007, I moved back to Missouri and took the job here in St. Charles County as the first park historian. So I was
Park historian.
Yeah, we were in charge of
That
all
is
the
badass.
historic resources in St. Charles County parks. Opened up the Heritage Museum and Town Park and a few other historic homes and properties.
Yeah, Town Park is right up 61. It's just, I love that place. We go there all the time. Their outdoor activities area.
Yeah, the Explorer Classroom out there.
Dude.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah. And so in 2016, we took over the Daniel Boone home from Linwood University.
Oh, yeah.
That's everybody's first grade school field trip.
Get a lot.
Like, where are you going,
of
Daniel
tourists.
Boone? If you don't go to the Daniel Boone home, then you're not from here.
Well, I had to wait till I was older.
But you did
I've
go
been
there.
I've been there, but that was,
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, one side note. I don't know if they do this now, but back in the day, they used to sell whips at the Daniel Boone home.
No, we
You're
don't
probably not old enough to remember
We
that.
don't have those anymore.
They did when I was little, and there was always somebody. Have you ever been whipped with a whip? Like, holy cow!
It
I would
hurts.
say no.
Yeah, you give a fifth grader a whip, and they're like, yeah, and they like, they're part of the process to talk about Dan Boone, and then I call him Dan.
Yeah.
And so,
Good friends. Good friends.
and then the instructor guy, he's like, okay, this is our demo. Then they leave, and some kid still has the whip, and then you just get drilled, just absolutely drilled. Yeah, I think it was me, and then my friend Joe Gentili. I think he just, Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Then became the director in 2017. So our longtime director Betty Ann Kramer, she retired, and I was the right place
In the right place.
time.
I love it, brother.
So
That's a good reason.
when you ask how you get into parks and recreation, there's many different ways, I guess. And so, I'm the historian. That
Yeah,
somehow
you did it
got into the park.
academically, man.
Yeah.
Holy cow. And then carrying a minor in archaeology, man, and anthropology. I did not know about that. Otherwise, you would be here for a day, because there's just, in terms of anthropology, what has changed and what we know about humans and the way the body works and how it has historically changed is out of control cool. And one of the reasons, as a side note, it's one of the reasons why this is important, because the human skeleton, Homo sapiens, as opposed to Homo nodali or some of the other ones, our dependency on vitamin C, our metabolic changes, the way it's really cool, man. And nobody else would even know what I'm talking about. I love it.
I can tell.
It's super cool stuff, and it in terms of what we do here, it ties directly in, because our job is to maintain that human form. I help people maintain that human form, or sometimes help them against their will, because that's healthcare.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
that's Ryan's backstory, and so now what we want to do is ask Ryan a bunch of pointed questions about the St. Charles County parks.
Talk parks.
Dr. Matt, because he's just the best, he's outside taking care of patients, so he might be able to join us today, but he might not.
Yeah.
So Kimberly's going to ask Dr. Matt's questions.
All right.
She's going to do a good job.
Oh boy.
Okay, go ahead. You
Okay.
go first.
I had listened to you at a chamber meeting talk about Kinetic Park and
Nice.
parks in general, and you were talking about the increase in guests throughout the last few years. Can you tell us about that again?
Yeah. So across the board, we've seen a gradual rise in attendance for many years. I mean, going back to at least 2015. But recently, in the past 3 years, we've seen a pretty dramatic increase. In 2018, we had just about 1.5 million people that were reported
That's awesome.
to all of our parks. In 2019, it jumped to 2.5 million people, so almost a million jump, within a year. And then last year, even with COVID,
It's like 83,000 people a month more.
with COVID and everything, last year we were kind of wondering, how this was going to impact parks and Parks and Recreation across the United States. They handled it in different ways. Some agencies, shut down everything.
Right.
We took the position, and county administration took the position that it's good to get outside.
Yeah, man.
Good to be in nature. And from day one of the pandemic, people were saying, get out. It's okay to go outside. It's okay to get fresh air.
Outside,
and that's like you're saying. Just getting outside does so much, for the human body, psychological and physical. So we kept our parks open. We shut down some amenities, water fountains, and some of those sorts of things. But we wanted to keep the parks open. And last year we reported 4.5 million people.
That pumps me up so bad. Over how many parks?
So we have 17 open parks right now, 20 total. So we have 3 in reserve that'll be opened at some point here in the future.
Are they being worked on?
No. So the ones that are in reserve right now have a life lease type arrangement on them, where the people who've either donated the property or made the property available to the Parks Department still have the right to use that until So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a good way for people to ensure that they can still enjoy their property, but still ensure that it's going to be preserved for generations.
That's
right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then. Do those leases typically go in perpetuity? I don't even know if you know this.
No. So, it's a life lease. So, typically, once that life's over, it then can be turned into a county park. And so we maintain it, we take care of it and stuff, and they still have the ability to go out there and enjoy it. So, one park is still run as a cattle farm. With Freemuth Park, and then Spring Bend, the family still goes out there and enjoys it.
That's so cool.
That is really
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So out of those 20 parks, we have 3,942 acres of parkland.
Shoot.
So there's quite a bit.
You can stretch out.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so about half.
What's
of that
your biggest park?
Biggest park's Indian Camp Creek.
What's our biggest park?
I love Indian Camp.
Everybody, no one doesn't. You find the guy's like, I hate Indian Camp Creek. That's not a person I want to know.
603 acres.
603. Yeah, that.
And it's a newer park too, right?
Yeah, it opened up in 2004, 2005, something like that.
Yeah, we did our family photos. We've done everything over. We've had events there, and then right across Town Park.
Yep.
Yeah, man, we got
just under 100 acres there.
Yeah, that park is.
Typically, a county park is a little bit more than 100 acres.
Bad.
That obviously has either natural resources, forested areas, open prairies, rivers, lakes, those sorts of features, or has some sort of significant historical component.
You guys have Quail Ridge?
Quail Ridge is one of ours. That's the first one that opened. So that one opened up in 2000. So that
Did it really?
was
God, it
our
looks
first county park.
Quail Ridge is where I got married.
Yeah, Dr. Meyer?
I got married out there.
Yeah.
Outside the lodge, and then reception.
Yeah, it was super cute.
Yeah.
And your things were tree leaves. Like the table you sat at was named after the tree.
That's true.
Wow.
You weren't alive then, Kim.
Yes, I was. You didn't know me, but I was.
So this increase you're talking about in terms of people going to the parks, you said it really blew up in like 2018. What is there any particular reason you think that happened pre-COVID even?
I'd like to just think that we were doing a really good job.
Yeah, man. I know. I mean, just like all that we could go park by park, but just the four we just talked about are just state of the art.
We've seen a gradual increase every year. From, like I said, we've been tracking our attendance, and our attendance is an estimate. I mean, we have counters. People come into the parks. And each car is counted. We do each car gets 2.5, estimated people in it. Sure. So we're overcounting the people that are driving alone, but we're undercounting the school bus. So, but we've
or my family of 6.
But we've been doing this long enough that we've got some pretty good data, and so we can track if 1 month was wetter than another or hot, or so we could kind of start trying to figure out when attendance starts dipping. Well, what caused that? Wow. And just like I said, every year we start seeing increase and increase. So I think it's just people. Yeah. We've been doing a lot of more programming.
Your programs are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social media outreach, trying to get word out.
Yeah.
But I think this past year it was just a big push. People found nature again. And that they're looking for ways to get outside and do things. We were joking around within the department that our park guests kind of turned into SEAL Team 6. I don't even know if you remember that. There was a military commercial where it was just still water, and then the soldier rises, and then it comes out of nowhere.
You see their feet.
Yeah, and it was kind of like that.
Footprints are gone.
It was kind of like that with park visitors because we were seeing people like go out and enjoy parkland that we didn't even know that we owned that land. Like they would just emerge.
They're like, the what?
Yeah, they would just like emerge from a wooded area and like, oh, we're having a picnic back there or whatever. And, it was really interesting.
Like, you were doing what?
Yeah. It was interesting because like I said, I think people sometimes they just kind of forgot nature existed.
Yeah.
So now when you're kind of stuck and they were like, well, how do we get out and do these things? And across the recreation industry, I think they sold more campers.
Oh yeah, you can't get a camper. You can't
bikes were sold out for months.
Fishing stuff,
all that stuff.
horses. Like you can't get a horse.
Yeah.
Even now, horses, side by sides, 4-wheelers, all of it.
And we were right there going, come to us.
Come see us.
Here we are.
We're made perfect for this.
Yeah, exactly.
So if Quail Ridge is your first, what's your newest?
The newest one that we, in terms of acquisition, was the Missouri Bluffs property.
Missouri Bluffs.
So right there by Missouri Bluffs Golf Course.
Yeah. So then what? Like you go in, you're like, okay, we've got 75 acres here. We got this is flat, this is trees, and you put some trails in.
Just depends on kind of the topography and everything that we have to work with. I mean, some parks are fairly simple to kind of figure out what we're going to do because we're limited either size or scope, or okay, well. We have a place on the Quiver. It's basically about 6 acres. It's an access to the Quiver. So there's not a whole heck of a lot that we can do there.
79, right?
Yeah, it's
Kim and I love Quiver River State Park.
Yeah,
we live up there.
So much.
Yeah, I live right. And we haven't done a podcast yet where we don't talk about Quiver River State Park, even though we've never done a podcast about Quiver River State Park. So thank you for continuing the trend.
In terms of like our bigger developments and things, when we're dealing with hundreds of acres, we go through a process. We reach out to the community, try to get some ideas of what they might be interested in seeing.
I love it, man.
Work with some designers, kind of come up with some of the best ways to develop it using the landscape and the resources we have. And then it's just a process. So we're pretty proud. We don't go into debt on any of our park projects. So we develop as we go. So we don't do any, we're not in debt on anything.
Pay for it in cash.
Pay for it as we go.
I love it, dude.
And so
responsible.
It takes a while sometimes to
to
develop a park. So that's why when we acquire like Veterans Tribute Park, from the point of acquisition to the time it opened up was, I want to say 4 years.
Right.
About. So it's a process sometimes. And sometimes we'll open up a park like Bromelsek, where we open up a phase 1 and start getting people in there, and then 4 or 5 years later we'll do a phase 2 and do another development. So
that's a great park as well.
Yeah,
a lot of different.
Which one is that?
Bromelsek. It's
off
DD
park has a
D
pond in it.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is good and bad because in the past couple of years we've been having to deal with this blue-green algae development. That's
really.
It's gone across the United States, and it's a natural occurring element. But obviously, if your animals get in it, nothing you can do other than close it. Just wait for it to go.
Close it, wait for it to go, or nuke it. But either way, it's going to have to be closed.
Yeah, if you nuke it though, it'll burst the cell walls and release the toxins. So it's best just to let it die. And then
that's crazy.
And it's every body of water between North Carolina and Washington State. I mean, it's crazy. It's something that's always been here. I mean, but we've never
an increase maybe.
We've never experienced it like this. It seems like so it's
gross, Kim.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
It looks like green paint on the water. It's not.
Nobody wants that.
No.
I checked. Okay, very good. And then, so admission prices, is it all free? Like, how do you guys?
Yeah, so all of our parks are open, free of charge. So obviously, when you rent a shelter,
how can you not love living here? People are like, Missouri, that's flyover country. I am so glad they fly over and that they leave because they would find out. I don't want them to know about it. You know what I mean? Honestly, our zoo is one of the best in the world. Our park system out here is just incredible. I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, I agree. Missouri has a lot to offer.
Sure does, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot right here in our backyard. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. All our parks are free of charge. It's open half hour sunset to sundown.
Right.
Or it used to be the Youth Activity Park. We just renamed it this year to Kinetic Park.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
That was the only park that we had an admission fee to it, which was a day use fee. But 3-4 years ago, we decided to get rid of that day use fee, kind of with the idea that if there's 5 people that were interested in coming to the park, 2 of them would be interested in paying. 3,
so
it's better to try to get
barriers.
Yeah, it's better to try to get the 4 than it was to keep trying to get the 2. Kind of thing. You increase attendance and. We still have concession stands and stuff like that.
Can you tell us everything you have at that Kinetic Park?
Yeah,
like we said, right down the street from us.
It's literally, and it's especially for young people. It is so targeted.
Yeah,
just towards getting kids. Like people come like, I don't have my son. This, I have my kids over there. Like, hey, they just straight up dropped a park right into the middle, redid it, and it is. If your kid can't find something to do there, then we need to talk to you.
It's going to be pretty neat, I think, when it's all said and done.
Okay, so lay it on.
We opened up, then it was the Youth Activity Park.
Okay.
We opened that in 2005, which was Missouri's largest outdoor skate park. So it's always had a skateboarding component to it.
Sick.
And skateboarding, obviously, the popularity kind of ebbs and flows a little bit. When Tony
we
Hawk
skated when I was younger. We skated. And we read Thrasher magazine.
Yeah,
and we wore airwalks.
Yeah.
You guys know about those? You know about any of those things?
What you hang out with Tony Hawk.
Yeah, well, yeah, man. I mean, what are we doing?
I mean, that was the height of skateboarding. When Tony Hawk was doing
Steve
this
Caballero.
Yeah. It had a great outdoor skate park component to it, and then that was about it. So really, this past year and a half or so, we kind of started looking at ways to bring out more people to the park. Mm-hmm. Try to make it more fun, and try to figure out not only to bring out the skateboarders and the people who are going to come out here to this, but how do we get my wife and kids who don't skateboard? How do they come out here and enjoy this? So we wanted to try to redevelop the park in a way that's going to appeal to more people, bring out more people, and then add new amenities to it. Because we opened it in 2005, and we haven't really invested a lot into making it new and fun and stuff. So
this is where we all have to remember that 2005 wasn't just 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's our friend Dr. Matt has emerged.
And
from rendering excellent patient care.
Yeah. For our local people, it's on Highway N, correct? Near the movie theater?
They've renamed it Town Square Boulevard. That's over there in Dardenne Prairie.
Yeah, if you're not from here, it's tricky to get in and out. You're like, where does this road go?
Yeah, they're off Town Square Boulevard now, right by that movie theater. But,
the other side of it.
Yeah, so
it's kind of hidden.
It's the movie theater where I saw the movie 300.
It was 25 acres, there. So it's one of our smaller, size parks. But we had the largest outdoor skate park in Missouri there. And last year we opened up the largest pump track in North America. So we're pretty excited about that.
Talk about the pump track.
Pump track is a new way to ride a bike. I guess maybe a new way to ride a bike. I don't know when it was, conceived, but. Basically, it's riding a bike without pedaling. So if you're pedaling, you're doing something wrong. The idea is to use the bumps and the turns of the course to generate momentum. So you're pumping your bike up and down to generate just kind of like the belly bumps that you used to have on the road. It's not the same concept except on a bike, but they race and they're fast and it's awesome. So cool. We decided to build this pump track, and we contacted American Ramp Company and Velo Solutions, which are the premier pump track builders around the world.
Yeah.
They build them from Japan to Russia to all over the place. And
are they from Missouri?
Well, Progressive Bikes and American Ramp Company is Missouri. Yeah, I think they're out of Springfield, Joplin area down there.
Okay.
So we had them, said, hey, we like to build a pump track. And they're like, well, how big do you want it? I said, well, we have 25 acres, give or take. We don't need, obviously, not doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest one? And they said, well, the biggest one's down in Springdale, Arkansas.
I like this
I said, okay. I said, how big is it? And he's like, well, it's like, I think he said, 30,000 square foot or something like that. I said, okay, make ours 5,000 square foot bigger.
Right.
So ours is the biggest right now.
5,000 square foot.
Yeah, we have.
That sounds like a Dr. Josh thing.
That is something I would do.
We had
What's the biggest?
Yeah, we had the ability to expand it. So at some point, Texas or somebody's going to try to,
and then we'll defeat them.
Well, yeah, we potentially, but luckily,
I would time it so that
Room for growth.
yeah, I would let them build theirs, and then like right before their grand opening, overnight we unveil the new section, and they're like, "Son of a!"
And luckily, the county executive and the county council supported it. You know, when you come to them and say, "Hey, I'm going to build a bike." Track, but
no one's got
you get a lot of weird looks.
God, is that televised? I gotta go back and watch that.
But they support it, and so that was great that they are supportive of the redevelopment mission that we have out there.
That's cool.
We opened up the pump track middle of last year. Tommy Zula, who is the world champion pump track rider from 2019, he's from California, grew up in Ohio, lives in California now. Right. He actually came out and did a demo out there, and he said it was one of the best pump tracks he's ever been on.
Oh my gosh!
We hosted a world qualifying pump track this past July
with Red Bull, right?
With Red Bull.
Dang it!
So we had hundreds of riders from around the United States come in. We had cars in the parking lot had license plates from Michigan, New York, North Carolina.
Oh my
California,
gosh! Good job!
All coming in here to ride this pump track.
They're not flying over anymore.
They're not. It's great.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Get them out of
build
here.
It, they'll come. No, but we had the male and female champions had an all expenses paid trip to Lisbon, Portugal, to compete in the World Championship.
Wow.
It's the capital of Portugal.
We actually, a local person here, Brooklyn Schultz from Wentzville, won the female division, and so she is leaving here next week to go compete in the World Championship in Portugal.
Is she not a patient of ours?
Not yet,
Should be.
Kim.
What the heck?
I will try to go grab her.
Perfect.
So the pump tracks brought a lot of people out. We've actually expanded it. We put in a skills course and a bike playground area. This next year, we're putting in a new indoor space that'll have some indoor pickleball courts.
Let's talk about pickleball for a second. Am I doing it wrong? Is it it's ping pong, but like in a big area?
Yeah, kind of ping pong on a big, tennis, ping pong mixed kind of.
But against the wall, you hit it off the walls?
No.
It's like tennis.
It's like tennis,
but smaller court.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So the indoor space will have a new pickleball recreation component to it, new concession stand. We're bringing in an esports arena out there.
Stop it.
It'll be a nice little feature for us there. All-inclusive playground area, which is going to be just under an acre in size. So one of the biggest playgrounds probably here in St. Charles. And then we'll be putting in a new splash pad. So a new
That's really cool.
Yeah. So a new water play splash pad area to try to bring in more families.
Splash pads are a big deal now. Have you noticed this?
They're fun. Yeah. They're not nearly the operation of a pool.
Right.
But, they
still screw around.
All the kids have a good time.
Splash pad.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I'm about it.
Oh, okay.
Lunchtime. We just head over there during lunch.
Go over there and splash
Maybe not come
away.
back.
There you go.
Perfect.
And at some point, we're hoping to put in a big wheel racetrack. So that was part of the
Dude, you got that is wonderful.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot going on.
That's every kid's dream to be able to race their big wheels.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get my Batman big wheel out of the wherever it is.
Yeah.
It had those side-to-side shifters. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what are you doing? With the power brake?
Yeah.
Everybody, as soon as they
wheels be worn down.
You go to turn and
those plastic wheels wore down.
Just jacking those wheels. It's just pure plastic and no grip at all. And then, you get in a car and you're 16, and then there's the emergency brake right there. You're like, I know what this is for.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't necessarily work like it.
Have you ever been in a car with somebody that actually does it like that? Turns the corner and jacks that brake on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jeff Johnston from Moberly, Missouri. I just like incriminating people from my past. He just slapped him. I'm like, Jeff, that does not work. It does work like that. It actually does work. Okay, sorry.
There's probably a little bit to that when you're planning a park and developing. It's a lot of stuff that you wanted to do as a child that you're like, now we can put it in here.
It's gotta be that will be interesting to go back and examine how the amenities in the park is just the childhood dreams from 20 years before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you look at 1950s parks and from the 30s, and it's just the stuff that they had when they were little.
Yeah,
that would explain those tractory things that are on the poles now.
The pump track, though, I mean, it's brought in a lot of people into the area.
It's got to.
And in fact, we had people move into the area to be close to the pump track. There was
They just love it.
family that moved in from Colorado because their son, I think he's 9-10 years old, is
He loves
just a phenom on a bike. He actually went down to Arkansas, and Tommy Zula was riding down there as part of the world qualifier. And this kid, Richard, is too young to compete. But I think he was like 2 seconds slower than Tommy was, the world champion at this age. So it's cool. We have a great biking community here.
Yeah, we do.
And
we got a lot of those guys here.
Yeah.
Like just the biking
very
community.
supportive. The mountain bikers help us maintain our trails.
Yeah, you know Gateway Off-Road?
Yeah,
Gork? We got a lot of Gork guys here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool guys.
Yeah.
Really intense guys.
You have to be.
Do you?
Yeah. Mountain biking, yeah.
I figured they'd be more of a hippie-esque and like Zen.
No.
No,
You
they're
have to
like
be
military grade hardcore. They are. So they're like, oh, we only ride uphill. Like, oh my god.
Bounce off a tree and just keep on going.
Just keep on going. Yeah, they so they have helped you guys design routes. I know Klondike. They were talking about how they helped out over there.
Yep. We've expanded some of our trails out there, added some new runs and things, and Gork's helped out building that. And each park kind of has a Gork Trail steward. Kind of helps.
That
us
is so
maintain,
neat,
and
man.
So,
It's a civic engagement, Kim.
Yep.
It pumps me up, you guys. Okay, somebody has written power pumpers. What is
Power
that?
pumpers. Yeah. So that was another way
He
to try
chuckled.
to.
He's like, okay. I thought this was maybe
I saw
one of
this
Marissa's questions.
No, I saw this on Facebook actually, and I thought it was awesome. So
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about it.
It was a little weird to me when they first proposed it. And we have a great programming department, and we're always looking for ways to obviously get people out and involved and,
Right.
and being active. And so one of their suggestions was this Power Pumpers program. Power Pumpers program.
I wouldn't have a
tough one.
chance. It would take me a day.
Word into triple letters.
It would take me a day to say that.
That was a tough one to get out there. But we're opening up early that day, or during the program, and the idea is just like getting out on the pump track, and we're getting walkers out there. So they're walking around the hills, going in the turns. And
Dude, what?
It's a cardio workout.
That's wonderful. That's why you wrote the
Yeah.
question, because you know I'd be pumped.
I know.
Kim, are you gonna go check it out?
I
Kim, are you
might.
doing it?
I would love to.
When does it start? When
It's
is it?
you can find out the event on our website or on our Facebook page. It's advertised right now. But
I'll share it on our social media. as
I
well.
encourage everyone who's interested in checking out what we do to either go to our Facebook page. We post regular programs. Our website stccparks.org. Yeah.
You guys are a .org. We're a .org as well.
Oh my gosh.
MF Wellness. Yeah, that's right.
So,
I know what you're thinking, and you're right.
Yeah.
MFwellness.org. Not MFwellness.com. That's a Chinese.
Exercise equipment?
Yeah, but specifically just treadmills. Yeah.
Treadmills.
Treadmills.
So don't go on MFwellness.com. They
All
won't.
right.
I mean, treadmills are good. but
Yeah, they're wonderful.
training,
Yeah.
They're not as good as walking on a pump track. though.
Dude, are you
No,
kidding?
not even
Like,
close.
Yeah,
Even
in
if
terms
they
of
do
like,
incline, then
yeah, it's just
not the
interval
same.
training. Like
Yeah.
this is interval training,
Right,
which
yeah.
is as we talk about weight loss. Like interval training is where it's at.
Yeah, now I'm probably not in the best of shape. I am in a shape, but not in the best of shape.
Perfect.
But walking in a straight line, that's one thing. On a flat surface, but going up and down these hills and all.
curves.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man!
Yeah, it's that intensity change that drives the hypothalamus to really start to change your metabolism.
Yeah.
That's how you get
Consistent activity, no matter how strenuous, is not going to provoke metabolic change like interval training will, and that's what hills are. Is interval training. That's super cool.
Even the pro bike riders that we have out there. 2 laps around that track and they're sucking air.
Oh, they gotta be. They've got to be,
Yeah.
dude.
It's a workout. It really is.
Awesome, man.
I
Do you have details?
found so it's
me
already
details.
starting, but the last
Oh, it's already going, guys.
today, the 13th and the 20th and the 27th.
God, I love it.
So every Wednesday for now.
Sure. Yeah.
Dr. Maurer, making it so that the people can understand.
Yeah, I love it.
That's really cool. What you got any other secret projects coming up?
Secret projects. No, we don't do a lot of secret projects, but I mean we're in the process of developing a lot, adding some new features. Quail Ridge, like I said, is 22 years old.
That's crazy to me.
Where we have a lifespan on playgrounds and stuff. So we're looking at replacing some playgrounds. We're building a brand new playground at Indian Camp Creek.
Oh my gosh! Are you going to make it out of the other ones were wood, weren't they?
Yeah, this one's wood. This one's a much bigger. It's like a 3-story steel structure.
Where would you put it at?
Holy
It's right there at the lake.
The first
right
lake
there. On the right.
The big shelter there, the circular shelter.
Yeah.
It's right there, overlooking the lake. It's massive. It's
that
really
is.
I live maybe a couple minutes from.
They're already working on that.
Yeah, it's almost done.
We were through there a while back, and I saw them doing something. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, first couple times I never made it past the creek. We just pull in and go back to the creek.
That's all you need.
That creek's awesome, man.
We're kind of been hit by some supply and demand things, so it's like 98% done. We're waiting on 2 pieces to be shipped here.
That's so frustrating. Yeah, we do.
It's just been crazy.
So frustrating.
But we're building a new playground there. We're building a new playground at Bromelsek, so there'll be a new destination playground there. Numeli Lakes is planned to be developed here with some new amenities, camping, and some additional features out there. Obviously, with Kinetic Park, that's a big one. We're under construction at Riverside Landing, and we hope to get that opened up here this fall, if not this fall, early next year.
What a great time to get it open.
Yeah, so we have a lot of stuff in the works. We're working on a brand new featured exhibit at the Heritage Museum, which will focus on the American Revolution in the West. So
fantastic, man!
There'll be a lot of stuff going on for sure.
Anything in there with the ironclads?
No, that was Civil War.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Every time we talk about any pre World War I, we're going to try and get the conversation to be about the ironclads because it's Dr. Fink's favorite thing to talk about, the Battle of the Ironclads. If you've been
Monitor and Merrimack.
That's right. If you've been down to the
CSS Virginia,
the Virginia, depending on where you're from, have you seen the new exhibit at the Arch?
No, I have not been down there.
Bro, you got to because they lay that thing out.
Yeah.
Full on, start to finish. They talk about the construction techniques. It is just an incredibly well done exhibit on those two. The ironclads, Kim.
I will have to go to the Arch.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to helping people get healthy, you first need to have people move. Like the human frame is tied to a metabolism, and that metabolism absolutely, positively dictates cardiovascular activity. Walking, pump track, whatever. Your body has to move. It is designed that way. And if you do not move, you cannot expect to experience all the things that make a human healthy. That's not me saying that. That's pure physiology. If you take that necessity and add to it how effective rituals are for humans. So when you think about the things you used to do when you were young, where you talk about big wheels, we still get those thrills. It still matters to us, and we can recall these really cool details. Humans are so great, and anthropologically, it could just because we evolved telling stories long before we wrote stuff down. Mm-hmm. So the way that we learn and we memorize has to do with our experiences, and there is a lot of good ways to get a good experience, but when it comes to establishing a ritual, going fishing with your parents or something like that, you can easily see where St. Charles County parks would matter. Going to the same park, doing the same stuff all the time. And on top of that, they're out there adding all these amenities that we could only dream of when we were little. It really makes it an incredible time to go to any of the St. Charles County parks, but also to experience them. Take your kid. If you have a dog, take your dog. But then take your kid again, and then take them again, and then take them again, and now you have a kid that loves parks. And that's it. Yep. And if you can give them that, if you can teach them, hey, it's super fun to go to the park. Holy cow, what you've done for their outcomes in terms of not just emotional health, but physiological health. It's a very real and definable thing.
Absolutely.
It's super cool stuff.
That's why we tell our crews regularly, it's not just the grass we're mowing and the trees we're taking care of and all that stuff, and we're providing memories to people.
That's it.
Just like, you said you got married at Quail Ridge. I mean, it's those family reunions, the birthday parties, it's the
Horseshoe Hall of Fame,
the disc golf,
straight up,
first disc golf, hole in one. It's your kid's special rock, he picks that out of the creek.
Dude.
I still have my special rocks, that I picked up on family vacation.
Side note to that. There is some debate. Let's say we find an arrowhead. Do we leave it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for being so crystal clear.
Yeah.
So there's a huge debate
Prohibited
about
by
that.
ordinance.
We do not take stuff out of parks.
Yep.
And in general, I'd like people to consider not taking stuff, period.
Yeah.
Like you're out in the great big woods somewhere, you find some arrowheads or something like that.
We
you leave them.
we do allow mushroom hunting.
Yeah,
and, you know,
right,
some berry
right.
picking,
Morels
those
are
sorts of
free.
things.
Morels, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I bet
You'd
you
be hard pressed to.
My brother-in-law Vance got to come get you.
If you prohibit people from getting morels, there'd be a revolution on your
God, can you imagine?
Yeah.
It'd be a full-on
we actually this I guess it was last year was our first year. We actually put in kayak rental stations. So
straight up,
3 of our lakes now have a rental station to where you can go out and kayak. So you don't have to buy a boat. You don't have to. Your life vest is there. Your paddles there.
Just
Everything.
throw it in, man.
$10-15 an hour. And
Numelli.
Numelli has one. So it's one of those when you're saying memories and things.
It is
for a quick.
It satisfies so much of the human need that it's just like the advances in medicine. You can't argue with them. There's people alive that wouldn't be alive if it weren't for those changes. Mm-hmm. But you absolutely cannot argue the changes in how healthy you're going to be for your whole life if you're walking every day or you're outside every day.
And the mental side of it, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They're prescribing parks.
That's right. We talked about this, and we talked about this on a podcast. Like, oh, okay, you have some trouble with anxiety. These are the stretches I want you to do. I want you to do them for this intensity. Oh, okay, you're having some trouble getting to sleep every night. Here's how long of a walk I want you to take. Oh, okay, you're having bipolar type of symptoms. Here's the type of exercise that I want you to do. It's 2021, as much as I don't want it to be, utilizing this information to make positive change. And for, above all else, taking your kids.
Yeah.
If you can give that to them, oh my gosh, what you've done. It's one of the most powerful things. Because then they'll give to their kids. So, okay, Kimberly, anything for Ryan?
I don't think so. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
No problem.
Dr. Maurer?
No, that was great. Loved it.
Dr. Fink?
It's just good to be here.
And as usual, Dr. Fink and Dr. Maurer do the heavy lifting around here. They both don't combine for 7 minutes of lunchtime a day because they're all like, if you need something, we've got you. So
sometimes I'll hear Dr. Matt. It'll be like we start back up at 2.
Yeah,
it's like 2:30. It's like, man, I need to eat lunch.
Yeah, he hasn't even eaten. Or I'll bring him in coffee in the morning and it's not touched. So mostly we just go to Quick Trip and get ice bags to put on his shoulders and hands. You know what I mean? All right, very good. I just want to thank you, Ryan, very much. I hope it wasn't as freaky as it might have seemed going on podcast. Is this the first podcast you've been on?
That's my first podcast I've been on, yeah.
Downhill from here, bro.
Yeah, I tell you.
It's downhill from here.
I've been in front of television cameras, and I've been on Elliot Davis once.
Oh, nice.
Nice,
man. Usually when you're on Elliot Davis, that's not good.
No,
but I guess it was positive for you.
It was okay.
Jesus. I love it. All right, go outside and go to one of our St. Charles County parks. And if you see Ryan there, tell him thank you. So for Mr. Graham, for Kimberly, for Dr. Maurer, for Dr. Matt, I'm Dr. Joshua Fink, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Thank you.
And a big thank you goes out to Hug Monster Sound for somehow allowing the doctors' voices to sound even better than they already do.